So here's a funny one that was sent over to me about a guy who's been with his girlfriend for like 8 months now. She's a doctor. She's 30 years old. He's a tech entrepreneur. Obviously, he has some very nice success at 31 years old. And he found a letter she had of a pro-con list she made about him at the beginning of the relationship. And in this pro-con letter she had 29 cons or red flags about him. 29. And only 7 pros or green flags about him. And when I'm going to go through this whole thing, and it's quite funny, and what's especially funny is that he describes both appearance-wise, both him and her as being average-looking. Now, I'm sure she doesn't think she's average-looking, but nevertheless, an average-looking gal, a 5, maybe a 6 if I'm stretching it, has this giant list of 29 cons and things against him that she doesn't like. And some of these are the most ridiculous things you will ever hear. But it's amazing to me how, and I talk about this fairly regularly, how even just the average ones think they're 9s and 10s and deserve the world here. So it's pretty funny. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Perry for sending me this story. He says, my girlfriend made this whole pros and cons list about me, and I totally stumbled upon it by accident. She made it up about 8 months ago into our relationship, but I only just found it. She's all apologetic, saying she made it back when she didn't really know me that well, but now she's got me all figured out, and a bunch of stuff on the list isn't even an issue anymore. Please, she's covering herself. Well, she's with this guy for a reason, and it has nothing to do with his personality, and I'm sure you can figure out why she's with him. Here's the lowdown on us. I'm a tech entrepreneur and I'm adventurous. Plus, I've got this sweet passion for photography and I'm basically a knowledge about a broad range of subjects, but without the nerdy look. On the other hand, she's a doctor, a nerd, and doesn't really have a ton of hobbies. We're both just average looking people. Okay. So she sounds like she's pretty fucking boring. But probably in her mind, I'm a doctor, I have this success, therefore that makes me so attractive. Doesn't work that way with guys. You know, she could be a doctor and have 19 degrees and be making $1 million. She could be a doctor and have such a rare specialty that she could be making $1 million a year. Obviously, that's not happening, but make $1 million a year and have all those degrees. So what? If she's not physically attractive, all that stuff doesn't mean shit. Meanwhile, a pretty girl working at fucking CVS who's 22 and is smoking hot and is very nice and pleasant and just only graduated high school, most guys would be more into the 22-year-old at CVS than the doctor here. But anyhow, let us hear all her cons for this guy, all 29 of this. Number 1, these are her cons. I hate his humor. Number 2, he doesn't understand me. Well, at 30 years old, at this point, I don't think anybody's going to understand you. 3, he lacks class. You made a list of 29 things that you think this guy's doing wrong here. You telling me he lacks class? Number 4, he's not fancy. Define fancy and what makes you entitled to fancy. Number 5, I don't like his friends. Aha. And usually someone like this tries to sabotage friendships. Number 6, I can't associate with his parents and siblings. Aha. It's not going to work out with the family and friends. This is what I tell you. You pay attention to who your girl hangs out with, what her family's like, and you make sure to see how she is with your family. Number 7, I hate the way he talks. The way he talks? Does he have does he talk like Rocky Balboa? Does he talk like Forrest Gump? I mean, number 8, he changes plans suddenly. Well, I thought women like guys that are spontaneous. Or she's a control freak. Everything has to be her way. If he makes any changes, she loses it. Number 9, he doesn't pay attention to what I say. Well, bitch, I wouldn't listen to you either, given how you're acting here. Number 10, not a doctor. Maybe because all the doctors aren't interested in you. They're young. They're more attracted to more better-looking, fun, younger women. 11, I hate the nicknames he uses. Okay, maybe he doesn't like that he calls her pumpkin or something like that. 12, he won't give me flowers to spontaneously surprise me. Oh, boo freaking who. I bet you if he gave it to her on Valentine's Day, she'd get mad at him for saying it's so predictable. 13, whenever I pour my heart out, he says something competing. Okay, well, if you're pouring your heart out and he's not responding in a way that makes you feel loved and secure, okay, I can maybe see why she has a problem with that. But then again, given her list here, I'm starting to be very skeptical of what she says. 14, the stuff he sends are not of good quality. The stuff what does he send? Good quality. 15, crooked teeth. All right. 16, not tall and square made. Okay, in other words, well, you know the sixes, 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, 6-pack. He's not tall. Well, define tall. Is he 5'11", so therefore he's not tall because he's not 6 foot, or is he like 5'2"? And square made in terms of just, jacked. Well, you're average looking, so what makes you think you've earned a jacked dude? 17, his face is not square. In other words, he doesn't have that jaw, that square jaw look. That's typically, statistically, women see that as a very masculine alpha thing with the square jaw look. So he doesn't have that. Again, you're average looking, so take what you can get. 18, gave me a hard time about children. Okay, he doesn't want kids. Well, then that's a major deal breaker. 19, gives me a hard time if I don't act like how he expects. He's trying to control me. It sounds like he's not acting how you expect. 20, this is my favorite one. I'm not obsessed with him. Translation, he doesn't give me the butterflies. In your mind, you're settling for him. Not obsessed with him. Because a lot of gals think if I'm not obsessed with him and thinking about him all the time and gossip about him, then obviously nothing's there. 21, we have nothing in common to talk about. Okay, that's actually a fair complaint if somebody has that issue. I mean, if you got nothing to talk about, it's not going to work. But there's all this other shit. 22, he has no hobbies like art, photography, not creative. Well, didn't the guy in the beginning say he's into photography? And if he's a tech entrepreneur, I'm sure there's levels of creativity in him, just not on the levels that she wants. 23, I don't want to shift right now. In a few years, maybe. I'm not sure what she means. Shift to the right? Is she talking about politics or something? 24, alcoholic. Okay. I got no. If indeed he's an alcoholic or drinks too much for her, I have no problem with her having an issue with that. But then again, you can say, why the fuck are you still with him then? 25, runs away from problems. Well, define problems. If he's a tech entrepreneur and the guy admits later on that he does very well, has money, obviously you don't get that way by running away from problems. You face problems. Maybe in her mind, if we have a disagreement on something, he doesn't cave to what she wants. Maybe that's her interpretation. 26, I want soft, cuddly dogs, but he wants cane Corsas. Okay, so they both like dogs, but they want different types of dogs. Not the end of the world. My second favorite one. No, actually, this is my favorite one. 27, he doesn't wear pink shorts. Doesn't wear pink shirts. That's it. That's on your con list. He doesn't wear pink shirts. It'd be weird if it was pink shorts. Pink shirts, really? 28, he doesn't use his surname. Number 29, uses A at the end of his surname instead of an E. So there you go. These are the 29 grievances she has about this guy, and yet she's been with him the whole time. And again, this is the girl he says is average looks. Now, if she was above average looks, she'd probably have 75 things on here. Now, here are her list of pros for him, the green flags. And there are 7 of them. And listen to this. Half of these, they're like half-ass compliments. Number 1, he likes pets, but is it the same taste? ? So, okay, he likes animals, but they're not the same taste that I like. So it's not quite a compliment. Number 2, shifting to Canada and a secure future. So I guess she means he's moving to Canada for a better future, and she has a question mark at the end of that. So like, better future, maybe that could help me, I don't know. Number 3, he's rich. No question mark there. Now we're getting down to this. He's rich. Number 4, he's good in bed, ? So either he's good in bed or he's not. Maybe she thinks he's good in bed, but she's not quite sure, compared to other guys, because she probably doesn't have a lot of experience with other guys, because she's, I don't know, a bit of a wacko here, and above it, and just average looks. 5, he claims he'll take care of the kids. Whose kids? Your kids? Like you're bringing kids in this relationship? Because that's a big red flag on his list. Or if you have kids one day, he'll take care of them, meaning like he's a tech entrepreneur, so he can work from home, he has flexibility, I don't know. 6, he reads books. Okay, that's a good compliment. She's obviously a doctor, so she had to be somewhat intellectual. And 7, clean and neat generally. So, generally. If you were me, what would you do in this situation? I'd dump the bitch. That's what I'd do. Dude, a lot of people in the comment section were like, oh, you know, she was the beginning of the relationship and that's what girls do and they vent and all these stupid things. No. She's of average looks, and she's giving that giant list there. And some of these are the most superficial, ridiculous crap I've ever heard. But even in your compliments, half of them she's like has question marks at the end. And the only ones that she doesn't have question marks are saying, he's rich. She is with you for the money. That is it. This sounds like this is a terrible relationship. And I think he said that in the beginning, he discovered this list and she apologized profusely. Yeah, because maybe in her mind, she allowed some things to slide, you know. But at the end of the day, she's with you because of that. No, break up with her. And if you're a tech entrepreneur and you're rich, believe me, you can get a much better quality girl than this. Okay, come on here. They have nothing in common. It's not going to work. You'll get married and then she'll then take you for everything you have and she'll benefit from you being rich. So no, she has a few reasonable things on there, like she says you're an alcoholic, if that's true, and stuff like that. But other than that, it's ridiculous. Doesn't wear pink shirts. I'm not obsessed with him. It's ridiculous. So bro, end it. So anyway, guys, a little quick entertaining one about these ridiculous expectations that so many have nowadays. And it's like, I'd like to know his list for her. You know, I bet you if he made a list for her in the beginning, she probably would have like maybe 7 cons in his mind, 7 cons and probably 29 things he liked about her, even though he saw she was average and she sounds pretty dull to me. But anyhow, there you go. This is how typically things are nowadays.